think there's a distinct difference between Sweet Briar's situation and Simpson's, and it's an important one to note in that Sweet Briar is an institution with a $94 million endowment. It is larger than ours. Ours is $85 million. But the important differences I think, are these. One is Sweet Briar is in a more rural location than we are. I mean, we've got Des Moines in our backyard, and that is in contrast to the situation at Sweet Briar, which is located about 15 or 20 miles outside Lynchburg, Virginia. And Lynchburg is a decent-sized community, but not anything as large or as dynamic as what we have in Des Moines. The other piece that I think it's important to note is that Sweet Briar, since its inception, has been a women's college. They've served only women. The trend in higher education, particularly over the last 20 or 25 years, has been that enrollment at those institutions for both women's colleges and men's colleges has become increasingly difficult. Sweet Briar did not see an opportunity to change its mission to admit men, didn't want to do that, didn't see that as part of their future. So those parts of their character and composition are very different from us and do suggest that the situation there, while worrisome for any small private college, suggests that there are enough differences and contrasts that their decision is somewhat more explicable than would be the case for someone like Simpson College. They didn't have any major financial challenges. If you read the statement from the chair of their board of trustees, the indication from that source was that as they looked toward the future, they saw a continuation of the enrollment declines that they've experienced in recent years. 4 or 5 years ago, I think their enrollment was around 760. They are down to 700 or slightly under that now, and did not see an opportunity to reverse that trend. That's not true for many small privates. We do know for small privates around the United States that these are difficult times, that higher education faces challenges on many fronts. But the reality of American higher education, if you look at higher education since its inception in the United States 400 years ago, there have always been colleges opening and closing, just like any other sort of business or organization in the history of the Republic. So there will continue to be colleges that close, but there will continue to be colleges that open. If you visit any small town in America, and you go to the center of that town and you see a college or a university avenue, but you can't find a college or a university, you can pretty safely bet that there used to be a college or university on that street that shut its doors at some point in the past. So it is worrisome, it is a challenge, but it is not unusual in the history of higher education in the United States. Our basic finances are quite robust. When you look at our financial health ratios, the strength of our endowment, we're in the top third nationally for college endowments. Now, no one would be willing to say on the faculty or staff or the administration here that our endowment is big enough. Quite the opposite. The best insurance we have for the college's future is a large, robust endowment, because that helps keep tuition costs down, because we get a larger return off of that endowment. So the bigger the endowment, the healthier. Nonetheless, we have a good, solid endowment. It does help fund the operations of the college. It does help keep our overall costs down. So for all of those reasons, yes, we are seeing some challenges for all of private higher education in the United States. There will be more colleges that will close. But Simpson, I think, because of our geographic location next to Des Moines, the strength of our programs, the quality of our faculty and staff, the commitment of our board of trustees, all of those things suggest to me that the future is actually a very promising one for Simpson College. Despite the fact where we are with the economy in the United States, we're continuing to face, at colleges like Simpson, price increases in many of our services. For example, just today I received a report that Ellucian, which is our enterprise software for the college, the software that allows students to register online, that kind of thing, the cost to the college for that software will increase by $36,000 from this year to next year. It cost us $244,000 to purchase the licensing for that software for this fiscal year. Next year, that will increase by $36,000, or 14%. So when you look at cost increases like that for the licensing we have to pay for software, for the increases that we see for various other services like databases for the library and so forth, even though most of us in our daily lives don't see that cost in terms of the services we use, the college has to pay those costs. So databases are going up, technology costs are going up, services costs are increasing that are being imposed on the college. So when you think about a 14% increase from somebody like a Lucian, and we're increasing our tuition by 4%, we're trying to balance that very carefully so that we minimize the impact of those cost increases that are being imposed on the college, try to minimize that in terms of what our students experience. And if you look at what some institutions are experiencing, particularly in the public sector, those institutions have seen very large reductions in their appropriations from state legislatures around the country. That's less true here in Iowa. But the consequence of that is that those institutions have increased their base tuition prices by considerably more than 4%. In some states, increases of 6, 7, and 8% have not been uncommon. Yeah, and in fact, you mentioned Stormfront. That's one we'll be rolling out in the next couple of weeks, a new portal for the college. And we know what caused that crash. It was related to a class availability counter that IT created in response to requests from faculty and students so that when registering, they could see how many spaces are left in a class. And what we found is that that particular system was not robust enough to handle the traffic being imposed on it last year. So we've taken it off and we've got a PDF instrument that will be going up in its place. And then we'll also be rolling out after registration the new portal for access to the system. If you look at our most recent audit, and in fact the audits of the college for literally decades, we are in a very, very sound overall financial position. It's important to distinguish between operating budgets and overall financial health. We have our challenges like everybody else. We don't have enough money. We don't have as much money every year in our operating budget as we'd like. We'd always like to have more money to fund that department or put more money in this program. But in terms of our overall financial health, in terms of the strength of the endowment, our financial stability and so forth, there aren't very many places in the United States that I could point to who have a more sound financial footing than Simpson College. And the places that I could think of would be places with endowments in the $1 billion+ range. Our overall financial indicators are as good as you'll find anywhere.